welcome to Strike a Match. I am Terry Finnegan Lynch, and I'm a certified health and life coach and the founder of Master Wellness Coaching. I am, again, once delighted to say that I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be carrying a message of positivity with SM Enlightenment Media. Wonderful support between the two of us to carry a message that we can change our lives through positivity, and there's lots of different ways to do that. As a life coach, my value that I bring to people is that we can change our lives through the transformation of a coaching relationship. And why I've created Strike a Match upon the invitation of the great Doc P is that it takes a little bit of action, just an open mind, for anyone to consider something new. Therapy and counseling and they're very familiar models of care. Coaching is a little bit different. It's been around for a long time, but we're introducing it into this realm of how to become a better version of ourselves, especially as we have gone through the COVID crisis and are coming out the other side with a little bit more hope and maybe more insight into who we are and what we want in our lives. So coaching is an opportunity to consider what's not working and what would I like to change. So Strike a Match is the invitation to take a little bit of action, and you're apparently doing that if you're here listening to this broadcast. So thank you for being here. The match part of the show is introducing you to a coach. We have them from all over the country, great gals and guys that have chosen to the field of coaching to bring change based on their life experience and what they're really good at. So I look forward to introducing my guest this afternoon. There she is, the beautiful Twiana Armstrong, lovely, lovely woman. She focuses on leadership, so very, very progressive strategy on how to become a better leader. So the first half is about me, right? And about my little tidbits of how we can move the needle for action in our lives. And so today we're going to start with a positive tip for a better life. Here we go.
Positive tips for a better life with Terry Finnegan Lynch.
What if failure was actually feedback? Because feedback is what gives us information to change a behavior. And if we'd like to do something differently, a failure is the best way to have information on what we would rather experience. Give it a shot. I'm a health and life coach, and these are Terry's positive tips for a better life.
WSME.
So, failure is feedback. What does that mean? Well, the reason that failure is an opportunity is that it's showing us something isn't working. The value of, looking at our experiences and not treating them as devastating or, a waste of time is so that we can actually organically gather more information about, what didn't go the way that we had hoped and why. So when we have an experience of failure, if we can then reframe it to say, what is this telling me? It could be that my thinking was coming from a place of negativity. It could be that my past experience drove me into a path, a behavior that isn't what I really wanted. And how do I change that? So when we have the opportunity to look at a failure as the feedback of how I'm operating, then the next time we're in that similar situation, we can readjust what we're doing. If we ignore the so-called failure and just chalk it over here as, well, that was a mistake, a waste of time, and instead of looking at it and say, what can I learn from it, then we'll tend to repeat it. And that's where we get really stuck. The loop, I call it, is when we keep doing something over and over, not necessarily expecting different results, but just we are in a habit. We do it over and over. The feedback interruption is the opportunity to say, am I getting what I want? is how am I approaching this? And with coaching, because we look at patterns of behavior, we can then step back with you and say, did you notice that this is how it's going for you? And in that, you have kind of a triangle. You have the event, you have your experience in it, and you have the observation of a coach to circle it and say, what else can we do? So failure is the opportunity to see what's not working and change it around. And I love that we can do that together as a coach a little bit easier than trying to do it on our own. Sometimes the reason that the failure exists is we don't have the perspective of another way. And that's where coaching can be so helpful. It takes a long time to get lost in the woods and a longer time to find our way out of it. So when we're in that dense place of familiarity and confusion, familiar confusion, a coach will, shed some light on how to come out of there. And it's usually a different path. And I think that that's the beautiful thing about feedback. How do I feel? What am I thinking? How am I behaving? How could I do this different? What do I want? And these kind of questions are channeled through coaching sessions that are helpful and transformational. So failure is actually feedback. So thank you for that moment of exploration. So what I'd like to do next is to go to our fun facts. So our fun facts, the reason that I find this to be a nice contribution to our podcast is that you don't have to believe me. There's other resources out there that say very similar things to what I am promoting as the value of coaching. And so I went to the HuffPost digital magazine, and I found an article by Tom Cassano. He's the contributor that wrote an article about fun facts about life coaching. And the one I grabbed for this week is really related to our coach, co-host coach. In her leadership role as a coach, this fun fact makes a lot of sense, which is coaches do the research for you. So this is a quote from Twiana's website. We thrive on sharing our experience, knowledge, and strategies to help you become a successful leader. And this image is actually from her site as well. Because having a life coach at your side means you don't have to do the work. You don't have to work as hard to find new or hidden opportunities. See, life coaches can do this work for you to introduce you to new tools and resources that can help you on the road of achieving your goals. It's like, because they've worked with so many clients who have similar dreams and are familiar with a variety of tools and networks, they can point you in a direction that suits your individual journey best that you wouldn't have access to. By ourselves and with Google search, we can be inundated with information. And when you find a life coach that resonates with you and you work on a goal together, they're doing a lot of the homework for you. And Twiana's going to talk about that and how she does that. So the light bulb of this fun fact is research is really important to especially our career goals, our money goals. And so when we channel appropriate research through a life coach, you are really economizing your time and your investment into what you need to have to become more successful. And, truthfully, Wednesday, today's Sunday, I did this exact thing. I hired a coach, not a coach for my emotions or my lifestyle, but for my business. So most coaches have coaches because we know how valuable they are. And so that's what we do when we come to the table and we look at what's missing in our lives. And we're like, well, if you research coaching, you'll find that there is an opportunity there to collaborate with the person that can bring you to where you can't go alone. So next, I'm going to just segue right into my comedy corner. Sorry, we can't make it. Our life coach benched us. 911, emergency. So the reason I bring comedy into the show is, one of the reasons that we resist something new, an alternative way of doing something, is we believe it might not work. We might get benched. Instead of moving forward and, hitting a home run or throwing out the opponent at home plate, we're benched. This is an objection that's done in a very clever, funny way here. But the bottom line is, with a coach, you're wearing the same jersey. And if you need to get, spend some time on the sidelines, a coach will help you do that. If you need to, spice up your game, a coach can help you do that. So it's interesting that we call this coaching, because it very much resembles the responsibility and the relationship that we see in the athletic world and coaching. So, if you feel like you might get benched because you hired a coach, it might be exactly what you need. So the next thing I'd like to talk about, each week I try to bring a little bit of coaching to the table. And we've used obstacles and opportunities as a nameplate about what this part of the show is about. So I have a 12-session program, and around session 7, I do this thing called EBT, Emotional Behavioral Therapy. And, when we looked at failure as feedback, as a positive tip, when we come to this stage of change in transformation, emotional behavioral therapy is one of the practices that allow us to look at embracing our emotions and finding out the why beneath the why of our emotions. So, there's cognitive behavioral therapy and there's all kinds of different things. But this one I love because there's 5 stages of emotional presentation, let's say. So the first one is this beautiful blue background, and it's where I am really great. And we call this the sanctuary tool. And when we're here, we have a really strong sense of love, a strong sense of safety, and certainly a strong sense of belonging. But what we're inviting you to do as a coach in this session when you work with me is that we want you to share that. It's not something that we want you to just internalize and say, wow, finally I feel great. Because it's being offering compassion, not only toward yourself, but to others in the world. Because this energy is that perfect, positive energy. And so the beauty of this stage of emotional balance is it's meant to be shared. So in contrast to that is the extreme emotion of I'm a hot mess. So this one we call a cycle tool. So these are on the ends of the spectrum. And the invitation here, so that you can stabilize this emotion, is what are the facts? So when you feel yourself in this, you want to ask yourself, what are the facts? From there, you want to then say, what are my expectations? So if we're going to leave this image up so you can see it while I'm speaking, what are my unreasonable expectations? Because often one of the reasons that we feel so overwhelmed is that our expectations are unreasonable. So when we name the facts and we look at unreasonable expectations, then we look at the feeling. Okay, the feeling is that I'm terribly upset. I want to cry. I feel hopeless. I'm just a mess. And we don't want to hide from those feelings. In this, we want to let them grow. Feel it in your body. Do you have a headache? Do you backache? Do you feel like you're going to throw up? When you feel that in your body, you're actually giving yourself permission to feel them in their fullest. From there you go, what are my reasonable expectations? And then you can see the opportunity for change. And when you see the opportunity for change, you say it out loud. So for example, if you just failed an exam, and then you go to the reasonable expectations and say, I can do extra work. I can take it again. It's not, it's not the end of the world. Whatever the answer is that allows you to channel a new feeling, then you say that out loud 10 times. So hopefully this isn't a place where you end up often. But the one that's down from this is that I feel terrible. And this might be something that you see more often. So here's how I feel terrible. Whether it be grief or, a bad relationship or money problems or, your health, whatever it might be, when you're feeling terrible, what I want you to do is, in a nurturing voice, kindly acknowledge the struggle. Without judgment as to why you feel this way, you want to be able to acknowledge that this is real for you. You minimize the harm by announcing that you will be okay and understanding that this will pass if you let it. One of the reasons that we stay in these troubled places is that we hold on to it. And the point of this strategy is to move from the more difficult stage to a lower stressful stage. So from I'm a hot mess, we'd like you to come down to I still feel terrible. And from terrible, we want you to go to I don't feel so good. So let's say the not so feel so good. So when I don't feel so good, this is still a different tool. We're asking different questions about how to bring myself out of feeling terrible and into feeling not so good. So when I'm not so good, this is an emotional clearing tool. Here we do is we just name that emotion and state the opposite. So if we're feeling really sad, that's the emotion. Then you state the opposite. Well, I'm all right. I can be okay. And find out the positive that's hidden underneath the negative. And what support do you need? Now, if you can see this and you hear me saying this, you're like, this is a big deal. Like, I can't do all of this on my own. And right, it's an entire session that you would do with me. But the reason I introduce it is to show how there's processes, strategies that coaches bring to the table that really involve action and allow us to move from one feeling, one situation, and tumble down into better and better places. So from not so good, we still want you to move into I'm good. And I'm good means I have positive and negative feelings. Because we're good, we choose the strongest feeling that we're feeling, and then we still ask, what do I need? The value of this is that once I figure out what I need, so if I wake up this morning and I feel good, but there's something in the back of my mind, some errand I have to do, or some, responsibility that I haven't checked off my list. I'm good, but I still haven't done it. We want to find out what that need is, because the ultimate hope is that we get to sanctuary. We get to I'm great. So what we learn in this coaching session is how to go from any one of these stages into I'm great. And we practice it together. Boom, 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 boom. Because we can become very comfortable in a particular emotional state of mind. I had an interview with someone and she said, I'm a helicopter mom. And she's always hovering and making sure. And, she, as much as that is all about love, it's causing her a great deal of stress. And so she's not terrible, but she's not great, right? So when we can name the place that I often land and keep moving back into a state of grace that is, I'm wonderful, I'm great, then that sanctuary allows us to share it with others. And that, I think, is the beautiful responsibility of our evolution is to find the highest version of ourselves and then share it. Be the light. Walk in to a room in your highest self. And coaching allows us to see, where am I? Why am I there? How do I move out of that space and go to a place where I am giving my best? Thank you for being here today. We're going to go segue now into some great commercials by SM Enlightenment Radio. Enjoy. See you in a minute. Welcome back. So I did give you a heavy-duty dose of coaching there, and I hope that it made sense to you. If not, if you want to get some more clarity with it, you can always write me or call me, Terry Finnegan Lynch at gmail.com. Say, what the heck were you talking about? Or you can text me, 617-365-0180 and ask. So this is my favorite part of the show, sharing the experience and strength of another coach, having a co-host that has a coaching model that's very different from mine, that is on the other side of the country, although we serve the entire world in our formats. So Twiana Armstrong is my guest. She is a wonderful, brilliant coach for leadership, and she has a very special model that she's going to share with us today about how it works in her business. She is coming from California, and welcome, my dear.
Hello. Good morning from the West Coast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me, Terry. I'm looking forward to the conversation today.
Wonderful, thank you. We met through one of the coaches that was a guest in the early broadcasts, Frank, and that's how this goes, is that we connect through networking, through being in different places and meeting different people. So I'm delighted to learn more about your business in person here. Your website is beautiful. And it's very professional and very, clean and powerful. So please tell me about it. Tell me about how you came to be into this model.
Yeah. I worked in corporate America for 25 plus years in leadership roles for the majority of that time, and absolutely loved it. And I loved it because it was an opportunity to influence others, an opportunity to see others grow. And I think that as coaches, we love it when we see our, when we see those we are working with have those aha moments. I absolutely loved having the conversations with those who I worked with. Mm-hmm. And I made sure that when we met or introduced each other, it was always working with. I never wanted anyone to introduce me as working for. Mm-hmm. I worked with all of these wonderful individuals, and yes, we had goals and objectives, and as long as we were working together, we were able to be effective. So once I left corporate America, I wasn't ready to hang myself out to dry just yet. So I decided to share what I had learned, how I grew up in the business, how I became a leader. And I truly tell everyone, I don't say to be boastful that I was an effective leader, but I really was an effective leader. To be in with one organization for 25 plus years, and to be in management, able to see the fruit of all the work that I was putting into my job. And I absolutely love the job. That's not boastful. Mm-hmm. That's being effective and being very upfront. So that's the same thing that I want from those that I work with. I want my clients to walk away with a sense of accomplishment, achievement. And when they share it, it's not a matter of being boastful. It's look at what I've been able to accomplish by the work that I have put into this investment into myself. So that's how It's Personal Enterprises was
Right.
born. Yes,
Yes.
it's very personal to me.
Mm-hmm. So your business, It's Personal Enterprises.
Yes.
Love it. I'm sorry I didn't mention that to begin with. I'm still learning how to be a host.
You're doing a great job.
So, so as I understand it, you have kind of like two models. Tell me about that.
Yes, two niches that I've come to want to serve. One is the traditional leader, the one that you typically see in organizations who are have those who report to them, those they work with, who are looking to accomplish goals and objectives for the organization. So they are given their marching orders, be it, hey, we've got to have X number of widgets produced by X number of days to show that we are successful. So this person is in a position of authority. I want to work with those individuals, be it that they're new to the role of leadership or those who've been with the company or the organization for a number of years, and they're just looking to hone, to fine tune what they've already been able to accomplish. So I work with positional leaders of authority who have individuals who report to them in the traditional model. My second niche was born out of this new world order thanks to COVID-19. This is the opportunist. I am looking for those individuals who have identified a gap or a need and said, you know what, I have an idea. I can fix that. They usually come to me once they are ready to fail forward, as I indicate, and we talk about it. We begin with the end in mind. What do you see as working? These individuals know full well that the problems of the future will not be solved by the solutions of the past. So this opportunist has identified something that's probably going to go against the grain. They're probably going to go against conventional wisdom. That's where they may find their struggles. I want to work with those individuals as we do some reflective and reflexive work together, having them take a look inside, as well as, hey, this is the person you're going to begin with, and this is the person you're going to end with. So through some coaching, I'll allow them to be born with, hey, this is how I'm going to fill this gap or this niche.
So are you saying that they have this wonderful idea and there's this part of them that needs to up level while they're creating it?
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
Very cool.
I love the up level. Yes. As they are creating this, as they are walking through the steps to get it manifested, yes, they will have to up level, because you've got to understand they are going against conventional wisdom. They are probably going against all of the naysayers. They're going against those that says, hey, we haven't done it like that before. And we've all heard that. That's not the way we do it around here. Or no, that will never work. Oh, right. This person understands, hey, I have got to be up leveling, as you said. So in order to make sure that I can get to the end of this product, I can get to the end of what I know, I can see it. My vision. Yes, well, in its full form.
It's really, a curious perspective, because, Great Doc P is, he had a vision. He's turning urban music and radio into a channel of positivity. So there's many, many enlightened ideas out there. And so how do we bring that to fruition and not get lost ourselves in the challenge of all of that? I appreciate your first model, but boy, is the second model wicked fun.
It is. I see this as my two creations. One is the first model, the creation. I bring to the table my experiences, and I can love to work with those individuals. But you're absolutely right. The second one is a lot of fun. I myself had to up level in order to find that second creation, recognizing things are going on around us that are new. That I get excited when I think about it, Terry, because it's almost like a new frontier.
Right.
It is like a new, everyone says, I want things to go back to normal. No, there is no going back to normal. Wow. There's this new opportunity. There's this burgeoning world that's out there. And I want to work with those opportunists who are saying, you know what, I've got a new world order. Right. And this is what it's going to look like.
It's in a lot of the coaching challenge is that we are all, many of us, I'm a creative family coach. What I invite is both parents and kids to come and work individually and together in the same program. Mom and son, dad and daughter. And that's that's kind of a unique thing that they're making the same evolution process individually, and then therefore as a family coming together and uniting, in a much healthier way. And I believe for me that it's leading edge stuff, because we've all been quarantined into this footprint in the last year that really amplified what isn't going well and actually what is, and take the two and fix what isn't and amplify what is going well. And so I believe that there's a lot of this new idea stuff evolving from COVID that needs guidance, right?
I would absolutely agree with you. It does. With my second creation, I often share that, when COVID began, everyone was twirling. We were spinning around because this was so new to many of us. No one had any idea the conception of a pandemic. So we're spinning, twirling. And then all of a sudden, we realize life goes on. So now we have to swivel. We began to get more information. And as information was shared, you'd make the turn to adjust. Right. So now you're swiveling. The opportunist has now stepped into the point of, you know what, I'm going to pivot. I am going in this direction because I know this will get us to the new world order. So my new creation, I'm molding into twirl, swivel, and pivot. That's exactly what we've done. And that opportunist, I want to walk with them as they are pivoting.
Yes, that's awesome. Yeah, I've captured a phrase as well. I love what you just said, that 2020 was a year of reacting and 2021 is a year of creating.
Yes, absolutely.
We didn't really have a point of reference, so it's react, and then all of a sudden it was, this reaction is revealing this about me. What am I learning about myself that I wouldn't have known without this confinement or this fear or this all of these challenges? And so now we get to choose what's next, right?
We do. The coaching that I do, the model, it is embedded in what I call results conversations, where we begin with the end in mind. So you're right. It's embedded in there that I help those that I work with discover and own. These are the steps that I need to determine, what's different about me. What did I learn? Right. And how do I own it to make it mine? Yes.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And what in my coaching model, which is about habit change, the reason that I referenced this emotional behavior section at the beginning of the broadcast was to recognize that how we think and feel is a response to many, many things, and we do it in the same way over and over and over again. And by interrupting the the normal one that I respond in. I always worry, or I always obsess, or I always control, and come down into that greatness and that spirit of
Yes.
the great Doc P and I were talking about having like a couple of meltdowns in the last couple of weeks. The two of us were like, wow, some of my real crappy stuff showed up. My fears. I actually went on a job interview as a nurse. I gave up nursing years ago to be a coach, and I was like a little panic, and I went on a job interview, and I was like, are you kidding? 27 to 1? You want me to take care of 27 people? That's why I left nursing. But I needed to step back into that like horror show to validate that I am in the right place, right? And then what I did is I went out and I hired another coach for myself.
Okay, good. Yes.
I knew that I would repeat that fear and that giving up without the guidance to bring me through that emotional place where I was, session 7, of panic and doubt, and to be in my greatness, right?
Yeah.
So fortunately, today you're seeing me in my greatness. But on Wednesday, you should have seen me.
I totally understand. I also have a coach. I worked with someone with the elite coaching model. That's where I received my certification.
Okay.
And continue to work with this individual on a weekly basis, where we come together with other coaches, like-minded coaches, and we have those sessions. Yeah. So coaching is an investment within yourself. And I loved what you said during your opening sessions, where you talked about economizing this.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're asking everyone to do. It's not a matter of wait till I have more time, wait till I have more space, wait till I'm making more money. No, go take the opportunity to invest in yourself, so that you can reach that greatness that you're talking about, where you have more space, more time, where you own everything that's happening to you.
Yeah, for sure. It's the conversation, the money conversation. There's always the question, is it covered by insurance? And I'm like, I hope not. Because I think we really show up when we invest in ourselves like this, for real transformation. There's a pain body, credit card debt or whatever. And on the other side of that is this profound sense of self-accomplishment, awareness, joy.
Yes.
It's a long time now, but 18 years ago, I was a chronic alcoholic and married to a sociopath that had a violent home. And, I'm so much more beautiful today than I could have ever been staying stuck in all that messaging. And every year, as I have made the choice to become a higher version of myself, I have become more beautiful. And when you say, it's not arrogant, it's not boasting to own our successes. It is the example of, it's actually our responsibility. I remember Marianne Williamson saying, and this is for the ladies, it is our responsibility to live in the goddess of who we are.
I love it. I love it.
About the light, she said, be the light. And others,
be the light.
Yes, but be the light. And when I first read her book, it was called A Woman's Worth. I was like a year sober, and I started wearing glitter. 47 years old. I'm like, I'm wearing glitter. And people would look at me, how dare you?
Good for you.
And it was just this, it was the first time that someone gave me not only permission, but held me responsible for that light. And so,
you owned it. Yes.
Right? So what we're asking and inviting people to do is to, what do you want? And find the coach, find the match that can bring you there with you, because what they've done in their life is preceding what you need, right?
Yes. Yes.
So you've been corporate America, you have nailed it, you understand it, and you created a new vision.
Yes.
Right. So
yes.
that those two things together are the genius of our creative mind. And that is the empowerment that everyone who works with us walks away with.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I want to share with you, similar to your Strike a Match podcast, a quote by Jessica Lauren Debris that I always share with.
Oh, please.
And if you want to start a campfire with passion and purpose, you'd start with the foundation of wood, which is your purpose, and start the flames with a match, your passion.
Oh my goodness, you have to send that to me. Oh my God.
I will. Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna have to put that into my next show.
Yes.
Yeah. So, this is the other thing, and thank you for sharing that. The other thing that I say to all my clients, nothing that we will discover here together is from me. You already have it. It's already there in your own innate wisdom. All we're doing is opening doors and windows for you to have access to it.
Exactly.
I had a young girl here the other day, and she was like, I get it. I get what you're saying. Like, it is mine. And but
those are the greatest moments.
They are the greatest moments, and they're hers. It's like, so it is so powerful. And the fact that what you and I do in theory and in practice and passion is very much the same. Who we serve is different. Yet, what I always believe is that we are one, right? And one pebble in the water that makes the ripple of positivity and hope and change. And, I'm so glad that we have, this wonderful platform. Thank you, Great Doc P. I mean, truly, thank you for allowing coaches to have a voice to say, are you curious? Do you like this idea? Come talk to me,
Yeah.
So tell me your website, or, how's the best way to reach you?
Yes. And I want to offer also my sentiments of thanks to to Doc P. So it's personal enterprises, Twiana, Twiana Armstrong. That's the website. Please contact me, 916-250-9245, or my email address is Twiana, Twiana, at it's personal, ITSPERSONAL .enterprises, ENTERPRISES, Twiana at itspersonal.enterprises, and 916-250-9245. I would love to talk to anyone who's interested in becoming a better leader, or that opportunist who's found a new frontier and is forging ahead. They've pivoted. I want to walk with you on that journey.
Wonderful. So fun. I'm so excited. I wish the show wasn't over, but it actually is, I think. This has been a great experience for me. We've really, this is our first real deep conversation. We had a couple of little ones, and look how far we went.
I know. This was awesome.
In one interaction. And I think that really speaks to the relationship piece of coaching. And the match that is what you're looking for. So strike a match, folks. Thank you for being here. Twiana, thank you so much for sharing your story,
Terry,
with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I don't know. I just absolutely love what this is all about. So I hope you do too. Please join us again next week. If you have any questions or want to write to me, Terry Finnegan Lynch at gmail.com, or 617-365-0180. It's a big ask to strike a match, but the flame is worth the fire that you create. I really look forward to being of service with you. Have a nice day.